We sat down with Congressman Ralph Norman. Here's our exchange. Congressman Ralph Norman, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Glad to be here, Steve.
Congressman, I just want to touch upon President Biden's recent interview on 60 Minutes. He downplayed 8.2 inflation, just going up a speck to 8.3. What type of message do you think that sends?
A couple of messages, Steve. One, he's disconnected. I mean, it's obvious that he's not running the country. The cabal that is gets it. This is a deliberate attempt to undermine America. I mean, the highest inflation rates in 14 years. For 17 straight months, inflation has outpaced wages. The Americans now are feeling it at the gas pump. They're feeling it in the grocery market. They're feeling it in the crime statistics. I mean, there is no bright light with what this administration is doing, and it's intentional. And so it doesn't surprise me that he's saying that. He downplays it because he's insulated from it. But the American people, for the first time, I guess in the last couple of months, I've seen it in South Carolina. They're mad. They're saying, why has this happened? We need some relief. And this administration is still has blinders on. They feel like they're not accountable. But I think they will be accountable on November 8th.
Congressman, your previous life, you were in real estate. The recession in the housing market has already started with the Fed set to raise rates again. Where do you see things going?
Well, Jerome Powell said one thing right. It's not going to be a soft landing. It's going to be a very hard landing. You got to remember, interest rates are a key component. Housing is the bellwether for the economy because it affects so many different trades, from footings to architecture to the lawyers closing the loans. And as housing goes, so goes the economy. And I know in our company, we've shut down 3 to 4 projects that we would have gone through with. But when you're paying more for money, when you have projects that you can't finish because of the supply shortage. I bought a battery the other day for a Ford 150 truck, 12 years old. I got the last battery. And I said, what gives with this? And they said, well, it's offshore somewhere. Quote, because of COVID. Well, COVID's long been over with, but the American people they're trying to sell a bill of goods that's not selling. And it's down to the point that when you see housing pretty much come into a slowdown because of all the factors mentioned, you're going to see the economy pretty much on the skids. Look at what Europe is going through now with what Russia's doing on energy. Europe has got a real problem with a recession, if not more.
Do you think that the housing cool down is keeping up with the interest rate hikes, or is it still, with another 100 basis points here, is it going to exacerbate the situation?
Absolutely, because when and it's in different parts of the country. In the South, you have people moving down there. I can't tell you the license plates that are New York, New Jersey, California. They're coming south, but they've got a limit on what they can spend. And when rates go up, where they're borrowing cuts into what they can spend at home on basic essentials, that's when you see the slowdown. And housing is already beginning to slow in our market. Houses that used to sell overnight now are sitting on the market, and you can see extensions on housing that sit on the market that are not selling, and then those that are not going to start housing because you can't complete them.
When you're back in the district and talking to your constituents, how big of a concern is the economy for them moving forward?
Oh, it's a huge concern because it's money out of their pockets. When you go to the gas pump and see before you get your own gas, odd numbers like $15. I mean, a typical fill-up used to cost Americans, depending on the number of gallons, but half what it's costing today. And you can buy unleaded at $1.85. Now it's $4.55 and up. So they're feeling it on the basic essentials. They're seeing the empty shelves where they can't get the products that they normally get. They're seeing when they go get a cheeseburger or a hamburger at a local fast food that what they're paying. And so, normally you have offsets on this. You'll have something go up, other things will go down. But when you have severe shortages, when you have cost of borrowing money, when you have the fact that Americans, their dollars just aren't going where they used to, as far as they used to, then it becomes critical. And the soft landing is not going to be there. We're into a recession, and from the acts of this administration, not their words, we're going to be in a recession for a good while.
Congressman Ralph Norman, thank you.
My pleasure.